My week wasn't bad. It's just it's like constant, work, podcasting. On weekends, I got to go to my mother's, take care of my mother because my mother's 88 years old, and I live the furthest from her. My two brothers live like 5 minutes from her, right? And since I live the furthest, I have weekend duty because she's 88 and she's starting to get dementia and whatnot. So I got to go there and either take her to church, take her out, make sure she takes some meds, make sure she eats, all that stuff. So, during the week, my brothers or my sister-in-laws can make sure it's all done.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, other than that, but this weekend actually, Saturday night, I'm going to see, oh God, who's that comedian? My wife bought me tickets for my birthday to go see Schultz, Andrew Schultz.
Okay.
Yeah, so that should be pretty fun. And other than that, oh, I fucking got into a car accident.
Really?
Yeah, but that same car that was stolen,
Yeah, that's what I
obviously.
was about to ask you. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was actually going to my mother's house, and it's a two-way street. So I'm making a right into my mother's driveway, and this kid, I guess, was trying to get around me, right? And I make the right, and he just clips me. And
Oh, so
and
he was coming the opposite direction.
no, no, no,
He
no.
was, he was
He was
behind you?
he was behind me, and then he tried to get around me.
He get
And,
around you the wrong way.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. He goes, I thought you were making a left. I was like, this is where I wanted to be, the in my mother's driveway. So it is what it is, man. You ever? I went to the gym yesterday, right? Yeah. Did you ever like see form where you go? I thought people realized not to do that like 30 years ago. I thought we established, like, I went to the gym yesterday and I saw this guy doing shrugs, but he was doing the shoulders in a circle,
Yeah.
and I went, I can't, but like, they're still doing that. It's like, I remember being like a teenager in the gym, and guys come up to me and go, no, don't do it like that. This is how you do it. And that was in the early 90s.
Yeah.
And
Honestly, some pros, still does it. So some of these kids is gonna say they're still gonna do it.
really,
Yeah.
what's up, Luke?
Hey, how you doing, gentlemen? What's up,
What's up,
Phil?
big dog?
What's up, Phil? What's up, John?
Look at Jack, Luke. Jesus.
Oh, shoot.
Um, what do you think, Luke? Like, I saw this guy in the gym yesterday, and he was doing shrugs, but he was doing the shoulders in a circle, one of those jobs. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I can't believe they're still doing it. Like,
I hate
yeah,
that.
yeah. Like, I thought we
I
figured
used to
that.
do, I used to do that when I was like 17 years old.
I,
I thought that was the right thing to do.
yeah, I just said the same thing. I was like, man, I used to do that in high school, and then the guys like corrected me. I'm like, but here's the thing, like, if you're 16 or 17, all right, I kind of get it. You don't know what you're doing. This guy was a man. He was like our age. I'm like, what the?
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh,
I try to walk up to people and ask that. Like, I got that from I think I was watching Dorian Yates one time, and he said he just walks up to people and said, "Why are you doing that? What are you doing it for?" Yeah, I actually walk up to people like, "Why are you doing that? What are you trying to do? What are you trying to
yeah,
work
yeah.
on?" And they'll tell me, and I'll give them advice and tell them, this is the way you should do it correctly. It's more
Right.
effective way, and
Oh,
some
where is
people
this?
listen, and so some people just go right back to doing what they were doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Give me 1 second. I gotta send uh Dorian the link. I guess he didn't get it. Um, yeah, I'll give you a topic. Talk amongst yourselves. The moonwalk was neither on the moon or a walk. Discuss.
Well, that seems like the balloons that were firing off
Yeah.
last week, right?
Yeah,
Patty was looking at that. She said, "Who the hell setting off balloons?" I said, "I don't know. That should just start going off, man."
Yeah, that was Bo. Yeah.
So you heard Max Charles retired?
Max Sharp
Really?
retired? Oh
Yeah,
wow.
I was
Wow.
scrolling through YouTube last night, and I don't know the gentleman podcast he was on, but that's why I saw in bold letters Max Charles retires, and I was like, "Holy shit!" So I watched the podcast last night. So That's kind of it's kind of sad, man. Max is a good dude, man. I've been competing
Yeah,
against Max
man.
for a couple of years, but just his attitude, his positive attitude, the positive energy, when he competes, win or lose, I mean, that guy he's awesome. So that's going to be a big miss of him this year.
Well, that guy's got nothing to be ashamed of, man. I mean, he had an incredible physique, and he was always a threat when he was on that stage.
Yeah.
In his prime, he was always going to break the top 5, top 3 in the show, and so on and so forth. And it was, his drawback, his legs really could never catch up to his upper body, but his upper body was amazing. Like anybody who's in the game that long and could like basically stay in it consistently like that has nothing to be ashamed of. He had a stellar career. What's up, Dorian?
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, what's up,
All
Dorian?
right, all right.
Dorian, you're getting fucking Ozempic face, bro.
Dude, it hurts.
It
My goal is
doesn't
to be ready
hurt. Say that again.
my goal is to be ready by Saturday, so I'm trying to be totally lean by then.
Wow.
And it hurts, bro.
You look pretty damn lean, that's for sure.
Thank you.
You got it. How much cardio are you doing now?
I'm trying to do like an hour 5 times a week.
Wow. Okay. At one clip, or you do like half hour in the morning and half hour after you train?
That's something kind of unique about this prep. No morning cardio at all. I'm just doing like post-training cardio.
Good.
Okay. For an hour. Yeah, that hour sucks. You look at that fucking Stairmaster and I'm like, God. What's the first thing you like to eat?
Got to be master of your. I'm sorry, what was that?
What was the first thing you like to eat after a contest?
Well, I don't have anything specific, but traditionally it seems to be like a double cheeseburger with a chocolate milkshake.
Really?
Things in there somewhere.
I always wanted M&Ms. I don't know why. I always craved M&Ms. Bo, what's the first thing you eat after a contest?
Cookies.
Cookies? Really?
Yeah. That's all I be wanting.
The first time I ever competed, I did Mr. Staten Island in 1999. Dude, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I knew I just had to get lean. And I was eating like nothing. I was eating a half a chicken breast and a handful of nuts like 5 times a day. It was ridiculous, right? And I ate so much afterwards that I gained 20-something pounds in 2 days. And nobody told me about like post-contest rebound, how to eat afterwards. Nobody explained that to me. So I didn't know what was happening. So I went to the doctor. My doctor didn't know. It was like the family doctor. They didn't know what the hell was going on. And he's like, you gained 20-something pounds in 2 days. And he sent me to the emergency room. Yeah, I swear to God. It was like a bloated fish in like 2 days. I feel like everybody goes through that, though, like the first 1 or 2 times that they compete. Is that accurate or no?
Yeah, I did it.
Really?
Yeah.
How bad was yours?
I gained like 25 pounds and didn't know what was going on. And like when you take your finger, you can put your finger in your shin, leave a dent.
Yeah. Yeah, from all the water weight. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. What about you, Phil?
Me?
Yeah.
I mean, my first time doing my first show, yeah. That's normally when it happens to a lot of people, first time competing, because you don't know the logic of reverse dieting. But yeah, it only happened the first time. I picked out. I was young then though, so it really didn't affect me too much at my little early 20s. Didn't affect me too much.
What was the first show you did, Phil?
It was a Ghost Classic in Toms River, New Jersey.
Oh, okay. I know the show. I think they still have it.
They probably do. That was like one of the biggest shows. I traveled about an hour for that. And then I did a show in Pennsylvania, and I did Steve's show, which I don't think he has anymore. It used to be the Tribeca something in New York, one of Steve NPC shows. I did that one time. That was a pretty big show in New York. It was like right after 9/11. Because we could, like, literally down the street, we could still smell the tragedy when he had that show.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, Steve now in New York has, what does he have? He has the Mets. He has what is it, the East Coast or the Eastern USA? Eastern USA,
Mhm.
right? And then what's in the Atlantic States. But then he took over a lot of shows in Jersey. I think Maz is only promoting, right, Luke? Right? I think Maz is only promoting 2 shows now, and Steve took over the rest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why. Oh, well, what's his name? Has from
Dwayne,
Diamonds,
Dwayne,
Dwayne.
Jersey. So
Yeah, he still has was it the Jersey Championship?
yeah,
Arn still has Muscle Beach, but I think every other show in Jersey
Weinberg.
is Steve's. Yeah, I don't know. What was the first show you did, Dorian?
I did the 2000 Bluegrass Muscle Classic in Lexington, Kentucky. It was Tricky Jackson's show.
Wow, remember him? Wow, I forgot
Yeah.
about him. He was a good bodybuilder.
Mm-hmm. I was
Wow.
136. Show.
Really? How old were you?
18 years old.
Wow, 136 pounds. Now, how much you going to be on stage at the New York Pro?
Probably 245, 246.
Jesus Christ. Can you imagine that, putting on 100 and something pounds of muscle? What show did you do, Luke? You definitely did the Jersey Championship, right?
That was my first show.
Yeah, I figured that.
2017.
And how'd you do at that show?
I came in second out of 3 people.
Did you really?
Yeah.
That's got to.
198 pounds.
You're 198.
Yeah.
That's pretty good for your first show.
Yeah.
Were you chiseled or were you were kind of didn't know what you were doing?
That was the best shape I've ever been in. So yeah, I was.
Yeah.
I was in good shape. I was conditioned, and then I thought I was going to die afterwards because I went and ate. I went to Little C's, and the lady there gave me like 2 extra pies and extra cheesy bread. And it's like 3 minutes from my house. My brother took me in. I finished the cheesy bread before I got to the house, and I ate 2 slices, and all of a sudden I went into like flu symptoms.
Yeah, dude, it's no joke. Like for some reason you can't, I don't know. Phil, what is that? Why can't you stop eating? Why do you need control? It's like almost like insatiable for the first few days after a contest.
With me, like right after the show, honestly, is when I'll just go out and eat. And then I take it down after that, and then I'll get up and we go somewhere that has really good breakfast, and I eat probably about 6, 7 pancakes
Jesus
and
Christ.
tons of eggs. And then I turn it down from there. I could handle 2 really big meals right after the show, and then the first thing in the morning. Other than that, like I said, I really don't get any because I know my body. Now, if I continue to push forward,
Right.
yeah, I could put on 20 pounds in 3 days.
Yeah.
So
The best part.
It's painful. So you learn from the first time, and you try to manage it.
Yeah, right. The best part though is the first training session after the contest, because the pump for some reason is insane. It's like it's almost painful. It's like you never felt that pump like that before. So I had this guy on. His name is Seth, and he's something of an PED guru. It's coming out Friday, and he was very knowledgeable. He likes to talk, but he was very knowledgeable, and we talked about all the big topics. I got to have him back, but we talked about Anavar, and we talked about the Trenkoff, and we talked about Ozempic, the semaglutide that all the girls are using now. But I want to know if you guys agree. This is the first time I've heard this. He claims that milligram for milligram, and maybe he's right. I just never knew it. He claims milligram for milligram, Anavar is the strongest oral. Period.
Not for me.
Yeah. What do you think? Go ahead, Phil.
I don't think. I think that's untrue. Anavar's actually. I mean, women take it. That's really when it first came out for wellness and bikini, and it's a woman drug. I mean, it does work for the guys if we take 40 to 50 milligrams. I normally don't go past 40, but it's a weak oral. It's no way it's the strongest. Winstrol destroys it. Halos destroys it. But it is a good, safe oral that you can stay on for a very long period of prep, yes, milligram for milligram is good, but it's not the best world now.
Yeah, I disagreed with him. I mean, he basically made his argument, and of course I let him, speak. I gave him the platform and whatnot. What about you, Dorian? Does anybody agree with that at all?
I don't agree with it. I'm just thinking about stuff like D-bol and Anadrol. The effect of that at 50 milligrams a day versus Anavar. I don't know exactly what perspective he was talking about, milligram for milligram, but just like Phil said, winning or halo test, that's just fucking powerful.
Yeah, you ain't kidding.
You take 10 milligrams of halo test, fuck out, you want to kill somebody.
Yeah. Oh, I know. It's the truth. I mean, the last time and the only time I ever used it was the last contest I did. And I was like so irritable and I couldn't figure out why. And I was like, then I realized that it was the halo test. And I'm like, oh my God. But
that's why they tell you don't stay on it past 4 weeks.
Right.
But I threw this at him and tell me if you guys think this is accurate. Generally speaking, you could have a discussion, but a lot of times it depends on the person. I feel like everybody reacts differently to different compounds. So when I was competing and I was using orals, Anavar, I had a decent reaction. Anadrol, I had a decent reaction. But my best reactions were always from Dianabol and Turinabol. Hands down, no matter what, always. Same thing with EQ and DECA. DECA, I always got a better reaction from EQ, 100%. Do you think that has anything to do with it? On a personal level, some people react differently to different compounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Luke.
I mean, everyone's body reacts different, and especially for me, all of my preps are the same. Like I have to try different stuff because my body gets used to it, adapts to it, and you have to try something different. And
right.
As far as the Anavar, it's so simple. I'll tell you this: one of my coworkers, he's using 50 mgs of it, and he doesn't even compete. He doesn't bodybuild. He just goes to the gym, and that's how I think non-lethal that stuff is. So, that's why I don't agree with that part of that.
Yeah, me neither. What about you, Bo? What orals worked best for you? For some reason, Turinabol. I used to take Turinabol, and it got to the point where I took it every pre-contest because it make me hard and veiny and. What about you? What would you have a better reaction to what?
Anadrol.
Really? See, Anadrol, I used to kill my appetite.
I'm greedy. Like I can eat regardless. Anadrol, like D-bol make me hold water.
Mm-hmm.
Anadrol do the different from me. It actually boosts my strength up and everything. And I can put on a nice amount of weight on it.
And it never killed your appetite. If once I got to like 50 milligrams, dude, I mean, like to the point where I felt sick. If I ate something, I would feel nauseous. Like that's how bad a reaction I would get from it. What about, did anybody else experience that? Like from an oral, like getting your appetite, killing your appetite or feeling sick or anything like that? Really? I'm the only asshole. Okay. All right, never mind. Forget it. I don't know. Yeah, and then we got into Ozempic, which I really wanted to get into because man, all these girls are using it. It's unbelievable. Like to me, that drug is the epitome of I don't want to do shit, but I need to lose weight.
Yeah.
What do you think, Dorian?
Yeah, I mean, the basis of it, this drug was initially designed to help with people with diabetes. And what they found is when you take this, you lose weight really easy because you have no fucking appetite.
Yeah.
This to suppress your appetite when all they really need to do is have a little discipline and not fucking put food in their mouth.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's unbelievable. Like I know people that just, and I don't know, and to me, this is just and Phil, you're a trainer, so I want your perspective on it. To me, when people just lose weight and they don't weight train or anything like that, I mean, they're obviously maybe getting healthier because they're losing weight so their body doesn't have the pressure of that, extra 20, 30, 40 pounds. but they just look like a smaller version of their fat self. It doesn't look good, you know. They might have like hanging skin, or like, you know, they have tits. They're a guy. They got hair on them. It's fucking horrible. Well, so when you train somebody, when you come into contact with somebody like that, do you try to like be like, all right, listen, you know, you really should try to weight train, or what are you just like, ah, fuck it, do what you want? I don't give a shit.
None of my clients does Ozempic. They tell me their friends do, but I'm just, you know, I have good clients, man. They'll tell me stuff they're doing, or if they're hooked up with a TRT doctor, that, you know, the doctor recommended this new drug, which they did recommend that compound because, you know, peptides have a version of that now.
Yeah, semaglutide. That's right. Yeah.
Right. So, and the person mentioned it to me, and I was like, absolutely not. They said, oh, that's all you got to say. I said, listen, we're not looking for a fast way to achieve anything, because anything you achieve fast, trust me, there is a downfall to it at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
So I never really experienced that with any of my clients, because, I mean, that's why they hired me, is to get them in shape. But their friends that don't work out and want to still eat shit, you know what I mean, and still take this so they can lose weight. Those are the horror stories I'm hearing from their friends and stuff like that. And, you know, one of them end up in the hospital. It destroys your gut health. I think there's like lawsuits out there for that thing now, with the damage it's doing with people. And it's crazy because once you start it, I heard a doctor on a podcast talking about it. He's against it, but once you start it, it's like you have to stay on it for the rest of your life, because the minute you come off, you're fucked. But you're fucked when you're on it, and you're fucked when you come off of it. Don't do it.
Yeah, there's no
yeah,
and there's no long-term studies on it because it's a relatively new drug.
right.
It's just people just want the fast way. They don't want to do anything. They just Bo, did you ever get this? You ever talk to somebody that you were training and they go, yeah, but what happens when I stop working out?
Yep.
And you're like, there is no stopping.
Yeah.
Like what,
Right.
how do you get some people you just kind of can't get through to, you know? It's just like
But then they'll ask you, like, if I stop working out, will my muscle turn to fat?
yeah, that's great. Yeah,
I said, have you ever seen a $20 bill turn into a dollar bicep?
That's pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, I get some crazy shit. But you know what's funny is like when you go to a gym that like Luke goes to, like Diamond, like the knowledge that's there, and then you go to like a, you know, LA Fitness or a Retro or a fucking just Crunch. It's just like it's fucking awful, man. You know. Yeah. I was talking to this one guy and he told me, you know, that he's trying to put weight on. And I said, well, you know, I said, what do you eat in the morning? And he goes, I have 2 eggs, toast. And I was like, man, I mean, you got to eat more, bro. I don't know what to tell you, man. You're not going to gain weight with some toast and 2 eggs. I mean, I was like, my wife eats that. I'm like, you got to eat. And then I always send them the video of the crazy shakes that Dave Palumbo used to drink. Did you ever hear these shakes, Phil?
Yeah.
With the 12 whole eggs. What was it? It was 12 whole eggs. It was a packet of metrics. It was oatmeal, 2 cups of oatmeal, apple juice, and it was like the old school glass blenders that like our parents had. And he used to he used to put the eggs in the microwave first so that they would stay warm because he was so scared of salmonella poisoning. So then the shake was like warm and he had to drink that shit. Yeah. And then he used to drink the whole thing. And then he used to stand over the sink and make sure that he didn't throw up. And then sometimes he would throw up and then he would make the fucking shake all over again. I'm like, God damn. Like that is, yeah, that's, yeah. What was the most disgusting fucking shake you ever made, Luke?
Something like that.
Oh, Luke, I haven't gotten my finger in a couple of days. What happened?
What?
I know he sent me a couple 2 weeks ago. I was like, oh shit, now you sent me the finger.
I always look forward to the finger. I haven't gotten one yet, man. You know what I got to do? I'm going to start like a group Instagram with everybody, and you could just send us the finger every morning. All right. So, guy, what was the most disgusting thing you ever?
Dude, that was it. I did. I don't know who I did. I read it out of one of the books Muscle Magazine when I was younger, and I did the eggs and the protein shake. I can't believe it. I remember when I got the little big box of metrics and the little packets and everything. I was excited. And I
Yeah.
did that with the eggs and everything. I spit that shit right back out.
I went to a seminar one time with Mike Matarazzo. I was like in my early 20s, and he used to tell me that told the crowd that he would blend up red meat, and that would be his last meal because he was so sick of eating. He would blend up his food and drink it. But Dorian, isn't there a difference in digesting food when you what'd you say?
I mean, processing starts in the mouth. I mean, the more chewed up it is, or the more finely ground it is, the easier it's going to be to break down and absorb. So it has a big thing to do with like assimilation time and digestion time.
So is it better to blend it and drink it, or it's better to actually eat it?
I mean, it has its advantages, but also I think it also has its disadvantages.
Yeah.
I think stuff like red meat and steak, that's fatty, really hard to digest proteins, and that's good for long sustained energy. But I think if you blend it up, it's going to kind of make everything happen and process a little faster. This just depends on your.
Do you ever do that? Do you ever blend up your food and drink it?
I got a shake story.
Good.
It's how I realized I had an almond allergy. But I was all proud of this shake. I thought it was super healthy thing I was doing like almost every day. It was basically broccoli, whey protein, water, and a cup of almonds. There's a lot of calories, a lot of good fat calories, but first day, no problem. Second day, I'm feeling kind of itchy. Third day, I'm like itchy in the most embarrassing places. And fourth day, my whole body's itchy. My crotch is itchy. Everything's itchy.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I had an almond allergy. I never knew it.
And then how did you get rid of it? Did you have to fucking go to the emergency room?
Well, if I just have a few almonds or a little bit, it's no big deal. But if I eat like a cup of them for several days in a row, it becomes an issue.
I never heard of peanut allergies years ago. Now every kid's got peanut allergies, right, Bo? I mean, I never heard of that shit.
Man, when we was growing up back in the day, y'all got to realize, have anybody heard of any kind of allergies other than carpet or whatever? You know what I'm saying? It wasn't none of this stuff when we was growing up.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I don't remember peanut allergies. I don't remember being allergic to eggs. I don't even remember the autism rate is so high.
Anxiety. We didn't have all that. If we did, we just dealt with that shit. We didn't even know it was anxiety.
Yeah.
We probably had it, just didn't know it because we was outside on that merry-go-round. You know what I'm saying? When somebody puts you on that merry-go-round,
remember that? Yeah, they don't have that anymore. Or do they have this when you were growing up? There was a ride, and it was called the King Kong, or it looked like a half a eggshell, and it was on the back of a truck, and you used to sit in it, and then the truck driver, you'd pay, you get on it, and he used to just swing you kind of back and forth, and you used to just go up and around, and that was the whole fucking thing. That was the whole ride. That was it.
That sounds like a redneck circus, man.
Yeah, except that it was
I've never heard of that in my life.
Except that it was in Bensonhurst. It was in Brooklyn. It was unbelievable.
Man, he made something quick to get some money.
Yeah. I gotta find like a picture of it or something like that. I forgot what it was. I forgot the actual term, but the ride used to be like King Kong on the side, and then they had like they had the same thing, but you would sit in a cart and it would just go in a circle, and it would be in the back of a truck too, but it would be for kids. Am I the only one that just fucking?
Dude, I don't know where you were raised, because this sounds like a child molester trying to influence kids to get on his truck.
Come on.
I've never heard of this.
Yeah. All right. I'll give you some more. What about Cornell soda? You guys ever have Cornell soda? Okay, it was a truck that delivered soda to your house. And
oh yeah, I remember that.
Okay, you remember that? Okay,
I remember the truck used to deliver. Yeah, God, that's when we had the bottle drinks. Then it wasn't right. You weren't drinking the can drink like that. You had the bottle drink. That what you take back for what, 5 or 10 cents? You can
and then you would give it back you would give the empties back to the truck.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was in like a milk crate. They would give it to you in a milk crate.
The wood, it's either the big milk crate or the wooden milk crate.
Right. And then you would either have like they had cream soda, orange soda, regular soda, root beer, and they even had like seltzer. All right. I thought I'm not the only one. Well, what about the guy who sharpened everybody's tools? Did you ever with that truck? Did you ever everybody get that?
No.
Was it truck that you
Absolutely not.
Phil's like, no, shut the fuck up and get back to muscle talk. This guy used to come around, and if you had like gardening tools, he used to sharpen for you. He sharpen your scissors and shit. Maybe it's a real Guinea thing. I don't know. Maybe it's a real fucking Dago thing. I don't know. But anyway. All right, back to muscle talk. Dorian. You're gonna have your hands full at the New York Pro, bro.
Bro, what a lineup.
Yeah, I tell you, it gets worse every day. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
I think it's better every day.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Yeah.
I'll get a chance to go against some of this young talent.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Did you see what Quentin put out another progress pic? Did you see it?
Yeah. He's getting lean enough.
Boo. Even from the back, I was like, well,
he's getting
let's see if we could check it out. Because I was really impressed with his I know they put it up on RX. Let's see, RX. Yeah, here it is. Right? That's impressive, but from the like I was like, wow, that's pretty impressive.
And his waist, man. See his waist?
Yeah. How small his waist is. And even it's like his little adductors over here. That's always impressive. This guy's he's ready, that's for sure. And the other one was obviously the back shots of Nick Walker.
Yeah, he added some muscle.
Yeah, he did.
That's I can't get this was the this was 2021 New York Pro, and this is this year. And that's pretty damn impressive. It looks like everything has gotten bigger and harder. I mean, these young, look, we could have the debate all day long about, the bodybuilders then versus the bodybuilders now. But man, I don't know. The guys today, the young guys coming up, it just looks like they are just aliens. They just look like freaks,
You really can't compare them though, because it's like every era got they own though.
Oh, yeah, I agree. Yeah.
We can't, even what they be talking about, I done seen what they said, how the old back in the 90s, how they trained, they went hard about condition. But when also, I think it was, I can't remember who it was though, and the guy did the little screen to make it like old school, and he compared the nameness to some of these guys.
Yeah.
And I don't care what they say, them old school bodybuilders, when he put that picture up against the new ones, it was day and night. Cause Hyder and all them, they was killing them dudes.
Yeah, it's just, I think athletes in general get better and better with every generation. And I think there are athletes that stand the test of time, right? So I think Ronnie Coleman is the bodybuilder that would have been Mr. Olympia in any generation, right? Right. But after that, I mean, like I'm gonna get killed for saying this, but as great of a bodybuilder Flex Wheeler was, he never really had striations in his glutes or his hamstrings. He was lean, but you never saw those striations. And
but that's the truth, though.
Yeah, it is. And another thing that is going to be unpopular to say, when Jay Cutler was Mr. Olympia, it was in between those two great periods of Ronnie, Flex, and that generation, and it was in between the generation after that with Phil and Kai and Dennis and Sean Roden, and he was kind of like Mr. Olympia during a down period when you had Dexter, Branch, and Victor Martinez was pretty much his prime competition. And they weren't terrible bodybuilders. Don't get me wrong. They were fantastic bodybuilders, but they weren't in either one of those categories, right? I don't know. Somebody give me some pushback. Come on, Luke. What's your opinion?
Well, I always like the old school. I think the old school was the you know the best look. I just I guess I grew up around that time, and that's what I'm used to seeing, the hard dense muscle. And you know, you see hard dense muscle now, but that was I don't know, that era was different. It was very different. And I is you versus now, you'll see one or two people like that on stage, but back then you saw all of them were like that on stage. I didn't even know how they were picking the winners at that time.
Yeah, but they were smaller bodybuilders. You know what I mean? Like, so in my opinion, and somebody else jump in on this. In my opinion, it's like when you look at the classic physique, since they're smaller and there's a weight cap, they get so lean and hard and they look fantastic. But now the guys are man, like Phil, how much are you on stage when you're when you're when you're competing?
Around 150, about 255, 260, somewhere roughly around there.
Yeah, so between 250 and 260. And that's probably average for a open bodybuilder today. But it's not unheard of to see a guy, 260, 270, 280 on stage today. So what I'm saying is when guys are leaner, smaller bodybuilders, it looks like they can kind of get in shape harder, but then easier. But then when you compare them, like Bo was saying, I don't know, man. It looks like I said, you never really saw striations with Sean Ray or Phil or Flex. And I know I'm gonna get crucified for this, but don't worry, I'm kind of on the shit list anyway with my last video. Yeah. If anybody saw.
Well, my opinion is this. Honestly, I'm the same, man. I'm more of in favor of the old school bodybuilders. Yeah, you're right. Sean Ray and them didn't, but there was a lot of guys that had shredded glutes and were in shape. Not a lot. Yeah. More like, I think once Ronnie Coleman started doing it, everybody started falling into place.
Yeah.
I think he came out with the shredded glutes and all that stuff. But back then though, now I just think that it's more dangerous and it's really, really unhealthy. And that's why I can't put this generation now to compete against the older generation, because you got to understand, back then they used very little gear, very little, and they also had the real shit. So they have a lot of underground stuff. They're getting straight pharmaceutical grade, and their doses was freaking minute what they were doing. And look how they look now. My issue now with the sport now is like now they push the conditioning and the dryness to a very unhealthy state. That's why I have an issue with the new generation, because I think even though they all look phenomenal and they look great, but the enhancement, I look at certain people's back and I'm like, okay, well, you develop that in the gym. Then I can look at somebody's back and it's like, nah, bro, there's some side injection somewhere there helping to develop. You can tell, everybody that has any knowledge about bodybuilding can look at a back and know, okay, well, he put his work in. He really built that back. Yeah. Then when you look at a back that just changed within 1 year to something miraculous, insane, you got to start questioning, right? So that's why I believe the era now, I don't think it's a competition for the older era. I just don't. But like I said, the requirements of just the drugs and the level of unhealthiness of pushing the sport, you got to look at it. Dexter came from that era, and he was still kicking ass.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But Dexter stayed true to himself. Supplementation, training. This guy said, listen, he could be prepping for a show and just don't feel. He's just not feeling it. He'll just take off 2 weeks. He could be, 6 weeks out from a show. That's just what he did. He listened to his body. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So this era is great. And, the level of conditioning, yes, destroys the 90s, but there's consequences for the direction it's going in now.
That I'll agree with. Absolutely. I think that, the sport is very unhealthy and it is edgy. And if you keep pushing it, there can be some serious consequences. But nobody's putting a gun to their head either. Nobody's saying you got to do this but no, I agree. It can be difficult. But Dorian, let me get your point of view on it.
Well, I agree with Phil. It's very hard to compare. And it seemed like the quality of the competitors were better in terms of like the conditioning back then. But I don't know. I think even in this era, it's kind of hard to compare some of these guys because they're such drastically different physiques. You know, you got these short guys, this smaller type of frame versus these huge guys like Samson.
Yeah.
But I just think in general, conditioning was better back then. I just think they had a different mindset and how to approach it and how to approach a prep. And like Phil also said, the gear regimens were different, which is everything combined is going to create a different look.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I'm just a fan of these new guys. I was always, even what's odd is I was never a big dude, right? Like even now I'm 5'8", about 200 pounds. You know, the most I ever weighed on stage is 180, but I was always a fan of the freaks, the monsters. I always Dorian, Ronnie, Marcus Rule. So now to me, it's like they kind of almost all look like that now, right? And so to me, I love the open, right? Even I like the 212 too, because it's kind of just the shorter version. And I was never like, I was never a big fan. Like I loved bodybuilding back then, but I was always more of a fan of the freaks. You know, who was the other guy? There was another guy who had a terrible physique, but he was a monster, and he was over
Marcus
400.
Rule?
No, not Marcus Rule. Who?
I know you're talking about. He was 6'7", like 6'7", about 400 pounds.
Right. Yeah.
Oh God, I know you're talking about. I can't even remember his name though.
And he was just a freak of nature, just a monster. And even though he just did terrible in competing, he was just this freak of nature. You know, even Dave Palumbo. I was a huge fan of Dave Palumbo, and he could just never get his pro card because of his shape. And it was a lot tougher back then to get your pro card, right? I mean, don't get me wrong, but I was just when he guest posed, and he was a good guest poser, man. He was just I don't know. I was always a fan of the freaks. So now when I see these guys and I see them on stage, I'm like, Jesus Christ, these guys are fucking insane, like jacked, like a Samson or a Quentin Beastwood, or, you know, being 250, 260 on stage now, shredded like a Phil or even a Dorian. It's like, man, I mean, how much do you think, you know, Sean Ray was on stage back then in the 90s?
205.
Yeah, exactly.
208. That's what he said he was.
Yeah, I believe it because he was, you know, but I don't know. When I see these guys, like we just looked at Quentin Beastwood and we looked at Nick Walker, you know, it's just I was a fan of the freaks.
It's a different era, really, though, because we really can't put their era against this era, or we can't put the golden era against this era. Every era got their own, and everything is changed. And like, ain't no way you can put them up against each other, really.
Yeah, no, you're right. And you could have this conversation till you're blue in the face. This is like, you know, who would win in a fight, Ali or Mike Tyson? You know what I mean? You could talk about that till you're blue in the face. It's never going to happen. You're never going to see it.
You know, there's a thing I always say to myself, to my athletes that I train, you know, that wants to come to the sport of bodybuilding, which I always tell them, make sure bodybuilding is your second type of goal. Don't put everything you have into bodybuilding. And that's one thing even Max Strauss was saying itself when people approach him about dropping everything they have in their life to become a bodybuilder. Don't do it. But at the end of the day, this is how it comes out. Look at the era, who's still living a healthy lifestyle, who's still doing well, right? Health is key. To me, health is more than money. My thing is 5, not even. Honestly, I don't even know. God, I hope it never happens. But you're looking at the next 3, the next 4, the next 5. Okay, it's a short window for this era because of the level of supplements being pushed. It's a short era. They're not going to be able to push it. You know, they keep saying, "Oh man, this person got the next 10 years is going to be golden for him." No, it's not. You know, but that's what they sell on social media. No, it's not. No, it's not. Here's the thing. How are you going to be once you retire from bodybuilding? Where your health is going to be? Are you still going to be alive, God forbid? That's how I judge it. I'm going to judge the eras now, not just by how freaky you are and how well. Listen, you got to understand, social media, especially these young athletes, they strive off of all this energy of how freaky and massive and superior they look, right? So now they push more. So now I can be bigger. They're going to love me. I can be better. The judges want the big, round, huge muscle bellies, and they just want us big and dry and super full. And the body's not made to be going these directions. You get what I'm saying? So that's how I can say it in a nutshell. That's how we're going to see which era is better. It's about what's after bodybuilding. How your life is going to be. So let's say we look at poor Ronnie Coleman, and the man said he'll never take back what he's done. He'll repeat it all over again, which I truly believe he probably wouldn't. You know what I mean? But he's Ronnie Coleman. That's his mentality. But if you can't live your life and have your grandkids and be able to live your life with your wife and your children after bodybuilding is over, then you tell me, was it how great is somebody because they were a freak for entertainment? Because that's what we are. We're entertainers.
Right.
At the end of the day. You know?
That's actually, you bring up a good point. How much does longevity in bodybuilding mean? Or is it really how good you are at your peak? Like there are guys like, look, Dexter Jackson is in a category of his own. I don't think there'll be another Dexter like that, where he had this incredible top tier, bodybuilding career for what, 2 decades, 20 years or something like that. That's insane. But what means more, the longevity of how long you could stay in the top tier, or how many shows you could actually dominate in a short period of time?
Good question.
Good, Dorian.
I don't know how to answer that, man.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I want to win any show I can. Where I'm at right now. But I mean, at the same time, my whole approach to this for all these years is to set myself up for success in the future. I don't think it's a wise idea for anybody to compromise their health for a very short-term small goal that's right in front of you.
Yeah.
First, Phil says health is more important than wealth. They say health is wealth. And I agree with that. I mean, yeah, you might win a show, but I guess that's just personal preference. Yeah. Is it worth you to win a show to potentially, take years off of your life? Or I don't know. It's personal preference.
It is difficult. It is difficult to judge. Shit, something else came to mind, and I had a fucking brain fart. This is what happens when you're over 40. You're like fucking.
I don't have this problem.
Yeah, you're still 29, you bastard. Oh shit. Man,
Cedric, poor God rest his soul, he always made his philosophy of thinking. I just watched it. I shared a video on Facebook because they asked him about bodybuilding and winning, and my man said, "Fuck winning." Like, he just went on this whole tear of, he did what he did. You saw it, right?
Yeah, I seen it.
Cedric made a comment when he was competing that the judge will give them their feedback, and one thing he never did, he never changed who he was. Wow. It's great. We take the feedback from the judges. We appreciate it. They're doing a great job. At the end of the day, we're being judged by another human being that could try to encourage us to say we need to take certain paths to improve, to become better, to develop this body part, or whatever the case may be. I say stay true to yourself. You know what I mean? And let the cards fall where they're made. You know what I'm saying? It's like these young athletes, they're going to push, and they're going to do I've heard, I'll die. I've heard people say they'll die for this sport and all this crazy nonsense, right? So Cedric couldn't say it any better. Stay true to yourself. Like me, I wasn't focused on trying to get any bigger for this year. No, I worked off of what I already developed throughout my years and just try to craft it and come in better. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Bigger isn't always the key for me on stage. And I don't believe that should be the philosophy for every single person. The bigger you get, waistline, stomach, you got to start looking at these things that now changes your physique, right? Yeah. So staying true to yourself and not get caught up with the hype. A lot of the young bodybuilders, I think, Instagram, we didn't have all this back in our day. So we didn't have that crazy influence to make us want to strive for someone to appreciate us, because that's what it is. That's what all social media is about. is looking for self-gratification. You know what I mean?
Oh,
That's why
absolutely.
I don't post a lot of progress pics. Once a blue out would do it, because what we do now when we do it, we're opening ourselves up for criticism. And some of us in this sport, we get offended, which we're human, we're going to, right? Because some of the things some of the people are saying, they don't have no fucking idea what they're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
But that's what we do. When you open yourself up in social media and show these pictures, you got to be ready for the feedback and the bullshit that's going to come back towards you. You just have to have that iron skin.
Yeah, you got to have thick skin. Even me, the fact that I put myself out there on YouTube and social media, I put a short up of me in the gym doing easy bar curls, right? And
I saw it.
somebody wrote stick to podcasting. I know. Speaking of which, like, I was always taught that when you curl, you tuck your elbows in, and it puts all the stress on your bicep when you're curling. So you tuck your elbows in. You guys think that's accurate? Because
no,
not at all, huh?
No.
You need full range of motion. You need full range of motion the best way possible you can do it. I think that's probably why this certain individual made that comment. You do still need full range of motion. I still see a lot of this in the gym, these little short reps. For certain bodybuilders in their time, it worked, but you still need a form of full range of motion.
Yeah, when I do, it's almost like a drag curl when I do an easy bar curl, if you will. And I've always felt a lot more pressure on my bicep when I did that. I don't have the best biceps in the world, so I'd always try to like kind of figure out what would work for me,
I got 24 arms, so I know better.
Say that again, Bo.
I got 24-inch arms, so
Screw you, man.
I'm just talking. They ain't that big though.
He put the hands up. He said, So.
Yeah. He's got 24-inch arms. Unfortunately, that's not what everybody's looking at when you're on stage, Bo.
Look,
sorry.
But like Phil said though, when you post them pictures, you open up for that kind of criticism.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
So I get it all day long. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, okay, yeah. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
I just let it roll off my shoulder. I actually did a video one time on the top 10 worst comments I've ever had. Oh, you guys saw it because I sent it to you guys. And the top 10, my favorite one was, this guy sucks. Like, that somebody just put, this guy sucks. And you can't let it bother you, man. If, like you said, you put yourself out there, you can't let it bother you. Did you guys see the video I did, the interview I did with Fuad's old friend? No. Apparently, Fuad,
I thought you talking about his friend that used to be his best friend a while back.
Yeah.
I think Muscle Discord did one with
this
guy.
Yeah,
my gosh, the stuff he was saying.
Yeah. Like, yeah, I don't know if it's true or not. This is what he's saying. But I had him on, and because I'm a shameless opportunist when it comes to my channel, and I'm not ashamed to say it. Right, I'm trying to grow my channel, so if I think something's going to be good content, I'm going to do it. Again, I don't know if this is what this guy's saying is true, but from what he's saying, there's a lot of crap floating around about Fuad, though, with the whole Sam Sulek thing, and this guy saying that, he looks to tear you down behind your back. It talks about you behind your back, and him being threatened. And the strangest rumor that he talked about was why Fuad's career actually ended. And it wasn't because, and he said that he got into a fight at the gym with a 16-year-old kid, and the kid kicked the shit out of him in the locker room. And it was over a comment that the kid wrote either on Instagram or YouTube or something like that. And he tore his tricep during the fight. And that led to his retirement, the fact that he tore his tricep. Again, I don't know if this is true. This is what the guy said, I also said, Fuad could come on and defend himself. Not that he has to. He's too busy fucking making millions of dollars. Right. But I don't know. It was just a strange. And here's the other thing. There's a lot of comments. The guy admitted that he was an addict, pills and alcohol. And why would that kill? Give me your opinion. Why would that kill I don't understand why that would kill somebody's, uh, like it's like a character assassination. So because he was an ex addict, that he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's, his word is garbage and so on and so forth. I kind of don't understand that mindset, right?
Who said that?
No, just comments in the
Oh,
video.
underneath what he was saying.
Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like I get that the guy had, his demons and whatnot, and he battled through them, but doesn't mean that his opinions aren't accurate. I'm not saying they are, but I'm saying, but they might not be. They might be accurate, right? But what does being an addict have to do with, or a former addict have to do with your opinions being accurate or not?
Because in their mind it's this, they're using that to discredit him, to make it look like what he's saying is invalid.
Right.
That's in life in general though. It could be anything. You can make your comments about somebody that you've been friend with for God knows how long, and then y'all fall out, and just some bitterness in between, and then you may come up a couple years later and say some things, and then somebody could know a little bit of dirt about you from your background and throw that in to make what you're saying not valid. But being an addict or whatever, that's just means of just persuading the situation to make the when you show something here, but then something's going on here.
Right.
I mean, it's just a way to make discredit someone, to make it look what they're saying is not true.
Right.
But listen,
Yeah.
it's not just for what, bro. Listen, the sport of bodybuilding in general, with all these supplement lines and all these, they all do it. You know what I mean? I heard a gentleman, even when I was listening to the podcast with Max Charles, they were saying it, that this gentleman, I don't want to call him a name, said he's been in the Olympia back in the day, good looking guy, and he said he helped so many people up and coming in the sport. It never charged them nothing, right? Then once they make it, they pretty much just shit on you. Never give you the gratitude, the thank you, or even say, hey, man, listen, I make tons of money. Let me give you a little percentage of here for helping me out, put me on your channel, helping me build my brand. So it's not just one person, bro. It's throughout the sport. You just got to. I tell
Agreed.
people, if you're going to do something for somebody, don't expect anything in return. You're going to be very disappointed.
Yeah, agreed. And I think you're right. The sport is full of shitheads. Totally agree. It's a selfish sport, and either it's going to attract selfish people. Everything revolves around you. So that kind of personality is, what can I take from you to make myself better? How can I take advantage of you? And yeah, unfortunately, there are people that are going to do that, and then there are good-hearted people that they're going to be taken advantage of. And it's an unfortunate part of the sport, but it's the truth. But that being said, I met some good dudes in the sport, like the people on this podcast right now. So that's all I want to. And not for nothing, Dorian, you look good, man. And I haven't said, what do you have, a waist trainer on?
Yeah.
How does that help him?
I use it. It just kind of tunes me in so I can contract my gut and hold it in. And I just extra heat around my midsection, because my low back's the last place I got a little bit of body fat left. So a little heat's good for creating metabolic reactions to happen.
Yeah.
And tap into some HGH frag, and that'll burn that shit right off. It'll burn it right off. I would have did that 4 weeks ago. Jump on some HGH frag. People think that peptide is no freaking joke. I live by it. I use it, and it just burns away body fat. But I start from the very beginning of the prep. I just microdose and gradually go up as I go. But that waist trimmer, I wear it when I do cardio. I wear it when I'm training with a belt tight on my waist. It works. Waist trainer works, but you got to wear it. You don't want to keep it on, 24/7. I had a lady come to me and say, "Do I ever have to take this off?" I said, "Absolutely. It's unhealthy. I think the time limit, it's about 2 hours minimum. You're allowed to wear a waist trainer." But yeah, I use it for my morning cardio. I use it when I train, and then my afternoon cardio. Look at my waist. It brings everything in by show day.
Now, explain the peptide. I'm not too up on peptides. Explain that peptide.
The HGH frag?
Yeah.
Well, the HGH frag is the tail end of GH.
Mm.
Because, everybody jumps on GH for the fat burning aspect, the muscle growth and stuff like that.
Right.
Well, there's a tail end, which is 171, okay, of the amino acids. And that's strictly just fat burning. You also have the AOD 9604, that's a little bit stronger than HGH frag, but that's a little long lasting, where the HGH frag is short acting. So it's about 25 to 30 minutes. So you do it fasted before you do your cardio, and then you do it before you go to bed, probably 2 hours after your last meal. But let me tell you something. I did that last year. Last year was my first year using it, and it's crazy. It's crazy. It's sub-Q, just like the GH. And I started the HGH frag 3 weeks ago, and already you'll see the body fat, especially around your waistline, melt away. And you just keep doing it straight up to the show. It drops body fat. It leans you out. It's a miracle drug. You got to research it. Between the AOD 9640-04 and that, I do that, the AOD, in the morning because it's longer acting, and then I do the HGH frag tonight and every night before I go to bed on top of my HGH. But I just do very low dosage of the HGH because I don't want that, the insulin spike. So I do probably only about 2 IUs of HGH, and then I do 350 micrograms of the HGH frag.
Any of the other guys use that?
Not now, but I think I'm going to start tonight. Thanks, Phil.
Sure, it's crazy.
I just learned something.
Look, while y'all playing, I was gonna wait till we get off, and I was gonna hit them away.
Yeah, that's
Text me, bro. I'll send you the information.
Yeah, I'm for real.
All right, cool. Gentlemen, again, thank you very much. All the love and respect in the world to you guys. Thank you. And I will see you. We'll talk during the week.
All
right, bud.
All right, later, fellas.
Enjoy and keep pushing, brother.